Good evening and welcome to yet another edition of the Youth Front Show on your CINE TV. Thank you for staying tuned. This edition is a tweaked one. We'll give you insight from what the public is saying, as well as take the engagement from our guest. The show made possible kind courtesy Chocho Herbal Fresh, the only soap on the market that moisturizes the skin with no bleaching tendencies. I remain Al-Hassan Kojo Beidou, your regular host. Today we are looking at Ghana Beyond Aid, the dream of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Dreams are cherished ideas, aspirations, that is, if you have them when awake, but are sensations and images and string of thought when you are asleep. They are achievable when you put the right measures to attain them. Or they are just merely hopeless aspirations if you don't know how to get them right. People have dreams. Creation came out of dream. Ghana was born out of dream. Today we are going to discuss the dream of our president. Is it an actionable vision or just a political mantra? Stay tuned. When we come back from the break, I will introduce my guest and we'll engage.
Chocho Herbal Fresh Soap.
Chocho Herbal Fresh Soap dear, natural herbal extracts are one no here near dear into what I did Jaria. Oh, one tossle.
Herbal Fresh Soap. Herbal Fresh Soap. Chocho Herbal Fresh Soap. Papa no.
Welcome back to the Youth Front Show on your CINE TV, the only show on the airwaves dedicated to the youth, using the youth themselves. Today we're looking at Ghana Beyond Aid, the dream of His Excellency, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I have two gentlemen here to help me do the discussion. I have Eje Kwesi Boateng, a chap I prefer calling Marshall. Marshall, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And to help him do the discussion is Bashiru Dramani Amantana, a student activist, GIMPA. Boss, welcome.
How are you?
Fine, thank you, sir.
That's okay.
Great. So, gentlemen, we are talking about Ghana Beyond Aid. That's the president's dream of building a Ghana where we are completely not synced or absorbed or taken over by aid, but a Ghana where we are ourselves, in his words, where we would use our natural resources, looking at the macro indicators from 2016 when he took up office. Now, I mean, the macro indicators are doing very fine. Inflation down from 15 to 10. Growth has jumped from 3 to 7, you know, and so he still believes with these strides we can achieve Ghana Beyond Aid. But others are thinking it's just a political mantra. So today, basically, what do you think? What do you think about the president? Marshall, you first.
All right. With a Ghana Beyond Aid, if you call it a dream, I wouldn't necessarily agree, because I feel, you know, certain things, he is not the only one who writes this dream. We are all looking at a country where, a nation where someday we won't be dependent on the Europeans or the Western people. We are looking at a country where someday we'll be able to do our things on our own. So it's not just Mama Addo, the only one having this very dream. We all want it. But he using it for the first time make it seem as if he is the only one who wants something like this, or maybe he's pushing it. it is not even Ghana Beyond Aid is not limited to any political party or any period of time. Let me say an election period of time. Okay, I see it's something which is more like a corporate plan, which every nation must have.
National agenda.
A national agenda, which goes beyond MPP, NDC. So let's say Nanado has this Ghana Beyond Aid agenda, which he plans is going to be for at least 40 years to see it coming. These indicators mentioned early on are only precedents which are supposed to elevate us to such stages. But to me, it's even less than a percentage of the whole idea. Okay, because it's if you are measuring 2 years against 40 years, it's not enough to tell that we can achieve or not. But I will agree up to every standard that we can achieve them. But of course, there are flaws which will be obstacles on our way if we are not really careful.
So, you think that it is not his dream per se, because everybody is having that idea. You could have ideas, but they can remain on your mind. Okay, perhaps he knows what he's talking about, and so that is how come nobody else has been talking about it, but he knows what he's talking about. And he, if you listen to Deputy Communication Minister Kojo Ponkroma, he actually outlined 4 thematic areas that he's going to work around to achieve this Ghana Beyond Aid dream. So I think that if it's his, but the bit that it shouldn't be NDC MPP. This is an NPP government, okay, and the president is aligning that to their achievement. So already we have politicized it.
That is where some of the flaws will be.
Okay.
Because it will affect continuity when we have this kind of mindset. Because if we think it's one party starts initiating something like this, it is not ours. Another party comes in, everything set, all these figures you are saying, which are all good, okay, could all go down the drain and will be meaningless in the end if another party comes and fills. It's not our agenda.
Doesn't that render it a political mantra?
It shouldn't be a political mantra. That's what I'm saying. That it will rather
no, we are not looking at what it should or what it shouldn't be. But I'm saying that as it stands now, obviously it has been flawed just because it's been aligned to political parties' achievements. And the president is the leader of the political party. So by touting that the opposition is not going to continue it in order to make them popular. So it means that this dream is already suffering.
You see, when you say it's a political mantra, mind you, he's the government in power.
Yeah.
Okay, so most of these things he can relate to directly.
Yeah.
It's not like he's talking for someone else. Okay, and if he says we believe in this, he's supposed to show examples.
Sure.
That this is what we can do. I feel we can attain this in 40 years because even in 2 years we have been able to do. So if we're able to continue on for a very long time,
yeah,
even for 4 years, and then we are kicked out, and another party comes and continues
it,
we'll still attain Ghana Beyond Aid.
40 years time.
For 40 years.
Yeah.
Because see, Africa, we've gone way beyond 60 and over years, and we are still struggling like we are now. Okay, so if we have a plan, the reason which has marred our progress, it's basically because of continuity.
Lack of continuity.
Yes, because I remember Kufuor comes with a policy. Let me start from '92. Rawlings comes with his policies. Kufuor comes to take them off. Then Atamos comes, and then he also takes them off. And then Muhammad starts his own, even though he's within the NDC. There are sometimes he didn't even go on to do. And then Akufo-Addo comes, he says Ghana Beyond Aid. And he's setting certain precedents, which are all attainable. Okay, but they must be structures. Okay, I hope we'll go to all the things he's talking about.
We'll tackle that. Bash, Ghana Beyond Aid, what do you think of the president's dream and vision and the strides he's made so far? Even though under his reign too, Ghana has had to borrow higher than any other government, at the point that now our debt height is said to be around the level, if we don't manage it well, we would have to be called heavily indebted poor country again.
Kojo, thank you very much. At the point in time, I thought you wanted to say everything. I think the issue of Ghana Beyond Aid is something that we must all admit to the fact that if it is attained, it will be of a benefit to us
all
as
of us,
Ghanaians, because at least We can have our own things that we want to do. Like for instance, some time ago, there were loans that this government, this country went and collected, and they said we should use it to build public toilets. At least, invariably, maybe public toilets were not things that we needed at that time, but because it was a loan, they were able to dictate to us what we should use those monies to do. And so meanwhile, we have our own priorities. We have things that are needing things to us, things that we think that would move our country ahead. But you saw that all these things, because of loans and other things, they were all flawed. And so I think that if you look at Ghana Beyond Aid per se, it is an important thing that we must all try as much as possible to start and continue it. And I want to take you to a little bit historical matters. I think during the days of our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, he started something of that sort. That was he resorted to building factories, and you bear with me that factories are some of the things that can also compel industries. That is, if we are able to keep our own natural resources, or if we are able to keep our own raw materials, build upon them to make them finished goods for our own consumption. I think I can tell you that even toothpick in this country, we have to import them. That's serious. Toothpick that any ordinary person can just sit outside and.
Isn't that the reason why His Excellency wants us to rethink all of this life we've had this time for 60 years? Since the 1960s, we've been borrowing, we've been doing living our life at the dictate of our colonial masters. Now he wants a Ghana where we are our own masters. Yes. Where we will not have to import toothpick.
Kojo, thank you. Sometime in June 2018, this year 2018, I think the president inaugurated a committee that the committee should embark on how, or let me say, the procedures that will follow, or let me say the things that would help us to constitute this thing, or to help us to be able to attain this Ghana Beyond 18 in somewhere that is June 2018. And the head of this thing was this senior minister, Osafo. Yeah, he was the head. He was the chairman of this group, and they gave them a deadline. They gave them September 2018 of this year to go to Parliament and to tell Parliament what they have done so far and how they think the procedures that we can pass to make it a reality. But Kojo, as we speak, I think it's not been able to do. I don't think.
Maybe to the committee is not September yet. They are selling
August. That is. We leave that to listeners to tell us as to whether it's. I'm saying September 2018. I'm not saying September 2019. So invariably, you understand that September is gone. You understand, and so it clearly tells us that this current government. They're just peddling around that we want to do something like Ghana Beyond Aid, but invariably it's not within their hearts, you understand, to do something of that sort.
Okay, so you think it's just a political slogan?
I think it's just a political slogan.
Hold your thought right there. Okay. Let's get on the streets and take a sneak peek at what the public is saying. All right.
How do I understand Ghana Beyond Aid? I think it's the intention of the government not to go with a cup in hand. But whether it's being achieved or not is another question. Because though we say we do not need to go borrowing, what we are doing is the opposite. So maybe it's as confusing for me as it is for some people, because you say we shouldn't go and rely on foreigners and then, foreign aid and all that. But at the same time, we go begging all the time. I'm not an economist, but what I know is that most countries borrow. You know, even America they borrow, in the UK they borrow, even China, from where we are going to collect a lot. I do know they are also into borrowing to solve some of the things that they need to do. We can never say we will not borrow, you know. I mean, aid takes different forms. How we borrow is a different thing. That is a question on the minds of many. You know, it's like, are we borrowing to develop our land, or we are just borrowing for the sake of borrowing? And if we say we have to borrow, then why do we say Ghana should go without aid, you know, without borrowing? That is the question.
Hi, my name is Elijah, and concerning the Ghana Beyond Earth agenda, you see, it's right now I don't see what like the president is actually doing, because he's been borrowing money from, and let's say it's going to affect the country in years time. It's going to affect the upcoming, you know, citizens of the country. So, and right now, if as he's borrowing more money, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the economy, and it will affect the country in the near future. But I don't think so. Right now, Ghana has been blessed with so much resources, so we should rather, you know, make use of our resources to, you know, gain more, you know, income as well.
Ghana Beyond Aid. To my level of knowledge and understanding, Ghana Beyond Aid simply means Ghana doing stuff in general without the help of no political members, maybe countries and personnel and all that, standing on its own. That's how I understand Ghana Beyond Aid.
Do you think it is possible to achieve Ghana Beyond Aid?
Yes and no. Yes, because Ghana can do well with its natural resources that is being blessed with. So with that one, if we should encounter and encourage the youth like us to utilize what we have, we could do more with what Ghana has and can do with supporting and all that. And no, because if we say we are bringing import stuffs, it's not from our culture, it's not from our country. So when it comes to the economic sector, it's just a cheat. And other sectors too, if you should go deep down, there are a whole lot of matters under it. So Ghana Beyond Aid, it's an on and off topic on its own.
What do you understand by Ghana Beyond Aid?
J'entends par cela l'opportunité pour plusieurs personnes qui quittent des pays étrangers de venir au Ghana apprendre. Il y a plusieurs ouvertures ici après les études. Il y a des opportunités pour le voyage, il y a des opportunités pour le travail. En tout cas, c'est bien. Il y a plusieurs opportunités ici en tout cas.
Without borrowing, Africa can survive without borrowing.
Oui, il est possible pour l'Afrique et le Ghana de ne pas emprunter parce qu'on a plusieurs activités ici. On a des terres à cultiver. Il y a tellement de trucs. Il y a une large possibilité de pouvoir travailler, nous-mêmes nous procurer plusieurs avantages, avoir des avantages sur les pays. Et puis, bon, il y a une main-d'œuvre forte ici, la population elle est jeune, elle est active, donc il y a plusieurs opportunités, il y a plusieurs chances pour les personnes ici de travailler, d'améliorer le continent ou le pays que d'emprunter de l'argent de l'extérieur. Donc voilà.
I simply means Ghana not borrowing from other countries. We depending on ourselves. So do you think Ghana can depend on herself? Yes, she can. How? You know, God has really blessed us with a lot of resources. We have gold, timber, and a whole lot. We can sell these kind of things and make money or make a living out of it. You don't need to go to other countries or depend on other countries for money and stuff. We can gain our own machines. If you want, we can develop some and use it to manufacture a lot of things that can help us. With that, we don't need to go to other countries, borrow money for a whole lot of things.
Thank you, and welcome back to the Youth Front Show on your CINE TV, the only show on the airwaves dedicated to solving matters affecting the youth, using the youth themselves. Today we've been looking at the President's vision of Ghana Beyond Aid. We went for a sneak peek to watch what the public or the world is saying about the dream. Before we went, Bash, you think that is a political mantra, and one of the speakers out there said, it looks like obviously a lot of people are confused and might be confused like the president himself, because he's saying one thing and doing the opposite.
Yeah,
what do you make out from
it?
It
is clear that like you heard the man saying that he's as confused as the president, and that's what they are even talking about Ghana Beyond Aid. They are doing even more than that, because you realize that just in 2 years they have borrowed close to 50 billion. But you cannot just point out even a single thing that this current government have been able to use this 50 billion to execute. I think some of the things that state a smooth taking of Ghana Beyond Aid, or let me say having something being independent, I think is what factories that are supposed to be built, and we will use our raw materials to fund them, or let me say you use our raw materials to be able to make them operational. But I would say that the past government have been able to take a step in doing this thing of Ghana Beyond Aid. I said this because, Kojo, you would bear with me that under NDC regime, we started something like factories. We this example of this Commander Sugar Factory that was established, or let me say, was established by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama when NDC was in power. And also you saw the Kumasi Shoe Factory, all these things, and also something like tax collection. Tax collection is also a very proper thing that can help a nation to be able to be of its own, not to go and borrow.
Because that's just how the president or the nation generates income.
Yes, that is how they generate income. But you realize that during MPP's opposition days, they mentioned that they are going to move from taxation to what? Something else. And so today we are seeing that even the commitment to go on and do and even take taxes is so shallow, because they are now waiting for NAPCO officials to go and do what? To go and take taxes for what? GRA. All these things wouldn't help us. And also, if you look at power supply, NDC has tried its possible best to make sure that there is frequent and stable, permanent power supply. You realize the past government came and they said they were going to manage it. You heard it, that they said they were coming to manage the system. I mean this electricity problem. But under NDC, they came out boldly and said, no, we are going to solve it. It has been a canker in the system for long. So the only way we can solve this thing is to what? To do some certain things, which was one of some of these Ameri deals that NDC went in to take. Another important thing is that you see under NDC in 2015, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama went and we were talking about Ghana. 40-year developmental plan. I think this 40-year development plan, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama called on all other government that may come as at then to be president or to be the government of the day to take that 40-year developmental plan, because that 40-year development plan was something that was not planned by the NDC government only.
Yes, like your friend here said.
Exactly.
The dream is a dream basically every Ghanaian shares.
Yes, please. Don't interrupt. I think you have your time. Yes.
Okay.
So
then
this
40-year
development plan that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama brought was something that could help us to attain this thing of Ghana Beyond Aid. But what did our senior minister say? That they are a government that has come to power, and they can do what? They can also they came with their own policies.
Okay.
And so if they've seen that the 40-year developmental plan will not help them, they will squash it. I think all these things will not help us. You see, even under His Excellency Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, there were things like these factories. When the Dankwa Buzia people came, what happened? They went to this factory after they had overthrown
yes.
Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. They went ahead and picked those factories, removed the parts of the factories, and sold them as scraps.
Okay.
So the commitment to do something like Ghana Beyond Aid is not really something that is within them.
So all of these form your basis for saying it's just a political slogan.
It's just a political slogan.
I'm sure Marshall has got... Marshall, a quick one.
Okay.
A quick one.
You know, I didn't think it was going to be an MPP and DC thing.
No, I don't think it's an MPP and DC thing.
He just made reference to the past government.
I know, but it's pretty obvious he's been biased by some of it because he's not being really factual here. See, when you say the president doesn't understand what he's talking about, or he's as confused as a man in there.
I didn't say.
No, he didn't say that.
He agreed. Okay, and then he made mention of them going for 50 million.
You have a problem with you have a problem with he agreeing with something somebody has said already.
Yes, and then because this
you don't have a problem with what the man said.
What the man said, I have a problem with it too.
Okay, so
I'm using both of them, not just
okay.
And then I'm also trying to say that he also mentioned of the government going for 50 billion. Is it? Do you say 50 billion or 50 million?
Close to 50 billion.
Close to 50 billion, and then they didn't see anything of it. This is national TV. See, some of these things, people are just on the street. We are the youth, and we are supposed to project something new the politicians are not doing. Okay, we are expecting that in our generation, we are actually going to educate people than throw dust in your eyes. Okay, so I don't
you think hold on. Okay, you think he's throwing dust in the eyes of the public?
Of course, by saying they go for 50 billion and nothing came out of it.
Hold your thought. Sorry, I have to do this. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Jojo Heba fresh soap. Fagari Danina.
Jojo Herbal Fresh Soap dear, natural herbal extracts are one no year near dear into what I did Jaria. Oh, one also.
Jojo Herbal Fresh Soap.
Jojo
Herbal Fresh Soap.
Jojo
Herbal Fresh Soap. Papa no.
Thank you, and welcome back to the Youth Front Show. We've been discussing Ghana Beyond Aid, the president's dream or vision, depending on how and when he got it, whether sleeping or awake. Interestingly, my panelists I've been having this. I don't know how to say it, but let's get back to Marshall. You think everything Bash is saying is not what it is?
Honestly, if I'm to rebut most of the things that he said, it will rather seem like we are deviating from the main topic, and then the time wouldn't even permit it.
Okay.
But I'll have to go straight to what I think about
Please
it.
do for me.
Because I feel Ghana Beyond Aid, it's long overdue, and if someone starts with such an initiative, we don't have to even go back and look at our flaws, but we should rather concentrate on what we can do to attain them. The question is, are they attainable? Yes, they are. But the problem is how they could be, the tactical way we can approach some of these things. And if we are not able to implement them rightly, he mentioned education, he mentioned human resources, okay, he mentioned industrialization. All these things are attainable. He mentioned value adding.
He mentioned expenditure management, and yet this is the government that has the largest appointment ever in the history of our country. How can you juxtapose this and say the person is an actionable vision?
See, I'm not going to defend the MPP.
No. I'm talking about the leader.
Yes.
You see, the one who dreams. Okay, when Dr. Kwame Nkrumah dreamt of a Ghana free of colonial masters, he knew what he was talking about. He was even dreaming of a free, united Africa. But he started. Clearly, he had steps. He started with Ghana, and you see how our independence trickled and got all our neighboring years. So I'm thinking that if the president, having outlined how he intends to achieve this vision, financial management, expenditure management, industrialization, all of these, but expenditure management, a key area, and yet this is the same government that 111 appointees. How do we move from this?
You know, obviously, some of these things, just like every other thing, starting is not really easy. So
Right.
some of the decisions they may make may mar the same thing they are visioning for. Okay, but it doesn't really mean that 110 people can change the whole plan. It can't. Okay, and it doesn't also
No,
mean
in
that
relation to his own agenda of ensuring
the thing is,
expenditure management.
I don't really want us to personalize the Ghana Beyond Aid to just Akufo-Addo's like dream. It should be all of us our dream. It should be such that we, even the youth, when the president goes and even an NDC party comes, we can still help make sure that it's attainable, because some of the things they projected are all really realistic. They have, we can see it's possible, they can happen.
Yes.
Okay. And if we don't stop these politics every time when people come up with good policies, we will not have the opportunity to go towards a way which is good for the nation.
Marshall, politics is people-centered business. The president has the duty to think about the nation. That is politics. The president has the duty to develop the nation. That is politics. Creating an enabling environment for every individual to be empowered is political in its sense, in reality. Okay, so I do not begrudge the politics of,
or should I say partisan politics?
Then perhaps. That is why I said that then the president shouldn't have even aligned this vision to the MPP's achievement, because Kwame Nkrumah had it. I am sure Jerry Rawlings did, Kufuor did,
the reason he's aligning it is he's trying to show that it is possible.
Of course, it is.
Because he's the one in power.
It is.
And now the only reference he has is his achievements. Of course, we all been here when MDC also used some national television opportunities to advertise what they are doing, okay, during the election, okay, and made it seem as if it's government or the NCC organizing it.
I get your point.
You get it.
But how can we really have Ghana Beyond Aid? Okay, the reality now. I like the angle you are directing us to. It should be, we should have a national sense.
It should be that.
Yes, a national sense. Yes, we are losing artisans. Okay, we are losing artisans because we're making people that work with skill feel inferior because of the contemporization of and this white collar job and the foreign, all of this is bedrock on foreign aid and making foreigners lead in everything we do. Can we still achieve Ghana Beyond Aid in the 40 years when we are going in the opposite direction?
Even our polytechnics, we are planning to change them to universities because we, and even not the politicians, our parents want our children to have degrees, and they make the technical people feel inferior with their HND. You see, if we are able to make these things really attractive, these artisan jobs, because they move the industrialization aspect of our economy. Okay, and if we don't have people with the skills to do the various things, the companies could be made up, but we will still go outside to employ people to come and do it for us.
Do you see the president getting us to do that?
At least it started with the NAPCO.
In his quest.
Who knows?
The NAPCO, let's leave it hanging here now, because the NAPCO is a whole thing that we cannot start now.
We don't know whether they started.
They are writing to companies to accept the people, and I don't see. So let's put it aside. Bash, do you still think? I think Marshall has said enough to actually redirect your thought. Do you still think it's a political mantra?
Kojo, I still think it's a political mantra.
Why? Are you not just being so fixed?
I'm just trying to be a citizen, not a spectator. Because, yes, of course.
You just playing back the Nadu's words to you. But Marshall has not been it's not a spectator. He's not spectating, but
maybe that's how he wants to go his way.
No, I'm not going to be a spectator. You trying to be objective doesn't make you a spectator.
Please.
Okay,
please.
It makes you be on a middle line where you are able to tell the truth.
Or Marshall.
Okay.
Just
what you said, you insinuated.
Okay. So Marshall is a citizen.
So I'm just
a citizen.
Am I a citizen or a spectator?
That one is less of you to say it. So I'm just trying to be a citizen, not a spectator.
Great.
And so if things are not going on well, I think we should have bold, energetic people to come out and point to the government that these things are not going on well.
But are you saying for a fact that the 50 billion cedis you cannot point to any single thing?
Remind him it's national television.
Of course. This is national television.
Yes. Of course.
You would want to be fair to. No, I didn't say it. So
yes.
But
and so if you can or he can, he should point out to me. They said they are going to build factories. A very brilliant idea.
Yeah.
One of the things that can push us to get this Ghana beyond 18.
Yes.
Tell me, what is the commitment? Tomorrow the minister will say, the minister of trade will come and say we are building 18 factories. This person will come and say 19 factories. Inconsistent.
Which kind of person?
Please. Inconsistency.
Somebody from the trade ministry, I guess.
Inconsistency is their work. You understand? So it is not giving us.
It's whose work?
I mean, it's MPP's. It's this current government's work. It's not giving us a fair play in this Ghana beyond 18. As
so
to
it's
whether,
not because
please, as to whether indeed we can, they are putting out any kind of effort to do it. You see, it is beautiful
what
to say.
What effort do you want them to?
It is beautiful to say,
yes.
But it is difficult to say. And one thing that I have realized as a citizen, I have realized about this current government is that they are good at talking.
Aren't we all a nation of talkers?
But yes, they are good at talking, but they are not good at implementing or adding logic to their implementation. You understand? They either do not implement it well or they do not implement it at all. But Kojo, just to tell you, you see, some of the things that can help us.
Great.
We can mention them. Yes, we can mention them. But we need a certain government to put them into work.
Is a government lacking the political will?
So it's not it being unattainable,
Kojo,
but
please,
MPP
would you
cannot
stop my brother
make
from
it attainable.
interjecting?
Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what I was. Is are you saying that the government is lacking the political will?
I think they want to take everything as their achievement, and if that is how it wants to go, I think you cannot use 4 years. I accept the fact that you cannot use 4 years, or even sometimes 8 years to attain, especially this time that we are now, to attain the level of Ghana beyond 8. But something must start.
Yes.
And I've mentioned to you things that started, and people that squashed those things.
Okay, that's the past. And,
yes, that's the past. And so today, as we speak,
wrapping up, Bash,
yes.
We are pressed for time.
Yes.
Wrapping up,
yes.
What do you think, or what are your final words?
Okay, I think that if you look at this thing of Ghana Beyond Aid, one of the things that we must do is our industries. We must strengthen our industries and see how we equip those industries. So our raw materials that we have in this nation, we can use those raw materials to do what? To be able to build factories that can make these raw materials into what? Finished goods for our own consumption. So that things like toothpick and other things, we wouldn't go and be importing them again. Another thing is taxes. I am very particular about taxes. You see, taxes anywhere you go, taxes plays a very key role in the development of a nation. It plays a very key role in what? Attaining that
agenda that the president
yes.
have. So I'm sure it's a national television. I'm sure the president, listening government is listening to you. He's going to work on industrialization and he's going to work on taxes. Let me take thank you. Let me take Marshall's final words. Yeah,
Ghana Beyond Aid will work because I believe it can only work. It can only work when it's agreed by all.
Great.
Okay, it can only work when we restructure ourselves, and I think most of the things they have already put in place, it has prospects that is attainable. But my problem is we, the youth, that will be counting on may go back to do what our fathers did and sent us back to 92. Okay, and if you are not careful, it won't be achieved.
Yeah.
Okay, so just as you mentioned, industrialization is one of them. I think the government is already doing that by raising the capital requirement of banks to 400 million Ghana cedis. These are certain things which stimulates industrialization, because once they have the money, what do? They invest in businesses.
The same raise brought about a lot of collapses. So I think you have a lot on your chest. So we will take another time and interrogate the issues very well. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, gentlemen. Thank you so very much, gentlemen. Thank you so very much. Thank you for staying tuned. It's been the Youth Front Show on your Cineplus TV. We've been looking at Ghana Beyond Aid, a dream of our president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. With me to do the discussion has been Bashiru Dramani Amantana, a student of Gimpire, youth activist, and Marshall J. Kwesi Boateng, aka Marshall, a novelist and a publisher. We've been looking at whether the dream of the president is an actionable vision or a political mantra. This show has been made possible kind courtesy Chocho Herbal Fresh, the only natural soap on the market that suits your body with no bleaching tendencies. Have been produced by a great team, Wisdom, Popskini, Ebenezer, headed by Sylvia. My name is Hassan Kojo Bedu. Keep your comments coming on all our social media handles and keep watching the Youth Front Show. Stay tuned. Thank you.